addressing.
So those kind of 3 hour, it's a very, very, very
Rare.
Yes,
Rare.
that's a safe measure we have in place. Obviously, we understand if you're delayed for 3 hours,
Yeah.
we want to make sure somebody knows you're still with us.
So this in a very good information, whatever the policy is, it is necessary to do that what it takes.
Yes.
But for our viewers to know that if they know definitely that the family member was on the flight and is delayed, so they should assume that they should wait more time to see, maybe it may be taking more time, maybe 1 hour, 1.5 to whatever, rather than just going back home and coming back.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And they can also contact their local airline
Yeah.
that the passenger arrived on to see if they have any further information also.
Very good idea, very good idea. I think something like that, we did discuss in the last program that many people that come in, not many, but some people, their I-94 information is wrong. Wrong classification, wrong, the date of the validity, and they come to us with an L1, instead of L1 they say L2, H1 they say L1. We have seen some cases.
Yes.
And I think there is a recourse to that person can go to the port of entry where he came from and approach a CBP official. Where do these people, and tell them this happened. In most cases they are corrected. What
Yes.
you say, if the officer says, yes, it was a real bona fide mistake, that is corrected. So exactly where is the office located where they could go with I-94 to get corrected?
Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, that does happen.
Yeah.
We are human. Mistakes do occur.
Yes, understandable.
You will go to www.cbp.gov,
Yeah.
and every airport is listed there with the pertinent phone numbers for you to contact and speak to a supervisor and set up that appointment to come back to the port, and at that time, we would correct the error that occurred.
So you have to call for an appointment or just go to the...
Well, we
Okay.
usually like to call ahead of time just to make sure
Okay.
that an officer will be able there to handle them. Sometimes during peak processing times,
Yeah.
we not always have an officer available to do the process.
Very good. Madhu?
Okay, I have a question about the global entry program.
Yes.
Would you care to elaborate on that program? That I know it's a really good program. I know a lot of people know that, but some of our viewers still don't know enough information about this global entry program. How it can facilitate their faster entry into the U.S. What they need to get done to be enrolled in this program.
Yeah, it's an excellent program. Essentially what it does is it allows U.S. citizens, legal permanent residents, pre-approved Mexican nationals, and Dutch nationals to apply online. You can go to www.cbp.gov and apply online for the Global Entry Program. We also here have the luxury in the New York area where you can apply at both Newark Airport, JFK Airport, as well as we have a new office in Bowling Green near Battery Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's manned during the afternoons and the mornings. You can go down there and apply to have this done. And it's $100 for 5 years and essentially allows you to bypass the CBP officers.
And if you have an American Express card, the American Express reimburses you
It's
$100.
Okay.
So it is free for them. And
Yes.
I did myself. And
It's an excellent program. You'll use a kiosk. At Newark, we have at least 5 to 7 kiosks up all the time. So you're not going to even wait in line while you're processing through there. And as I said, we have 3 locations in the New York metropolitan area.
So people can go
They
personally.
can go personally if they
Okay.
come off their flight, they want to do it.
Yeah.
Or if they're
Taking a
in
flight.
downtown New York
Okay.
and you want to do it, you can go into the Bowling Green office in the old Customs House.
Okay.
And you can apply on right there with an officer. And you'll just submit to an application, a background check. And then if you're approved, you'll get your card. And that card also works with our Nexus and Sentry programs on both the northern and southern border, as well as you are now also into the Netherlands.
And this question we did not clarify. This is open both to U.S. citizens and green card holders.
Yes, correct.
And more.
Yes.
And more. Let's
Yes.
talk about the more. Who else besides the citizens
You
and
have
green card holders?
pre-approved Mexican nationals.
Yeah.
And we are also in an agreement with the Netherlands government where it's a reciprocal agreement where they're also able to use this program.
Okay.
No, this program I think initially was kind of a pilot program or program limited to certain ports of entry. And slowly you have been expanding this. And the recent information that we got just about a couple of days ago, that there are some other posts.
It's expanded to
I have
4
I have
other,
the names
yeah, 4
here.
other additional
They
airports.
just have added Netherlands. They have Dutch Peruvian program like in Amsterdam, Canadian citizens and those who may participate also in the Nexus program.
Yes.
Now, I hope someday when India can also be included.
Yeah.
Well, at that time, it may occur. This program is essential to CBP.
No,
As you know,
why I'm raising this, I'm saying why I'm raising this, because many people in India, big business people, like film actors or producers, who are coming here several times every year. Very clean record. Obviously, this entry is, global entry card is given after a complete search of all the records. And you go over the background of the person. Is there any in the background that, even a citizen can be refused. Even a green card can be refused. If
in the program,
in
yes.
the program.
Yeah.
Because if you see some problem there, it's not like a right that a person has to get a global entry, right?
Exactly. It is a very strict
So
program.
what I'm saying, compare this to, these people are not citizens, green card holders, but long-term L1s or long-term visitors of that category of people who are absolutely clean and no background is anything and visit US frequently. Like other people, you just mentioned about the Netherlands, you mentioned about some other country people, right? They are not
Yes.
citizens, they are not green card holders, but is still able to get enrolled into the global entry. So this was the reason that I said hopefully sometime in the future, because whenever we go to India and people ask me the same question, can we get also, I say maybe sometime in the future, not right now.
Yes. Yeah. Unfortunately, it is not available right now.
As you were saying, that this program is essential to the CBP. Why is it so?
What CBP, what we like to do, as well as our enforcement standpoint,
Right.
we want to facilitate legitimate travel.
Right.
This program is the opportunity for you to move through the CBP process at such a quick rate. We have over 24 airports right now that you are able to use global entry in.
Okay.
It allows you essentially to bypass the wait time. All you use is your passport. You'll submit your fingerprints and answer the customs declaration, and you're on your way. Now, our future goal is to expand to 26 airports.
Okay.
That'll cover 97% of air travel into the United States.
Okay, that's really awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Now how does it save time? Basically people say, what's the use? I pay $100 and I get, what's the difference between my just getting into the line and going through this? You have a different exit
Yes.
for people?
Well, they'll have a
kiosks.
different line. Everybody will exit through the same control point. The improvement is that you're not waiting 20 minutes to 30 minutes in a line to see an inspector. You're going to come right off the plane, walk right up to a kiosk where your wait may be a minute to the person in front of you is done with that, and then you'll process through that kiosk, receive your stamp, and you'll go down and exit out of the control area.
So let's say I have a global entry card.
Yes.
I land at Newark Airport and I go to one of the kiosks.
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 What do I do there? What is exactly? I put the card in the machine?
Well, first thing you'll do is it'll ask for your passport.
Yeah.
It'll read the biographic page on your passport. You'll also submit your fingerprints, which during the application process you also submitted. So it'll match your fingerprints right there. And then you'll be asked the pertinent customs questions that every passenger must enter when they're coming into the United States, must address. And then if everything is fine, you'll be given out a little card that you'll present to the officer at the control point, and you're on your way.
So in other words, that you don't have to fill up the form in the plane about
No.
the
No, the
customs
customs, no,
declaration.
no.
No.
Just, okay.
Yeah, everything is done in this
So
automated
then it's
kiosk.
speedy,
It is very speedy.
But there's no officer that inspects you there.
No,
No.
there is no officer.
The machine does it.
The machine does
The machine gives
everything.
you that card.
Yes.
And that's what you going out.
Exactly.
And that move within 5-10 minutes probably, 10-15 minutes.
I'd say less than 5.
Yes.
That's
Okay, can we just backtrack a little,
Yes.
just to go into the application process for the global entry program?
Yeah.
How, where exactly can they do it, online, or as they come, as we discussed last time, I think you mentioned there are 3 places that they could come in personally and get the
Yes.
application done. Also, do they have to take an appointment, or how does it really work if they do a personal, come in personally to do the application at one of the airports?
Yes, well, there's a whole host of ways you can do it. In the New York field office, which we belong, we have many different ways. You have both your airports, JFK and Newark Airport. We have the Bowling Green office near Battery Park. We also have what's called mobile enrollment teams, that if your company guarantees CBP a number of enrollees, our officers will actually report to your location and enroll you on site.
Okay.
One of the benefits, as we spoke earlier, American Express will actually pay the $100 enrollment fee. Many of the crew, airline crew that process through, the airlines offer that as a bonus for them. So that helps us in our crew processing.
So let's say a non-profit organization who's got a lot of members, say about 50 people or 100 people already. Will your mobile unit go there? And
Yes, definitely. Our mobile unit will arrive on site with our laptop computers, and we will enroll you into the process right there.
I can assure you that we'll help you on that. We'll spread the word around to some of the non-profit organizations. And,
Yes.
and that will be very nice for people. They're more comfortable doing that in an environment. To them looks more friendly
Yes.
than going to the office of a CBP. Or some people are just afraid to go. So this is very nice.
And as I said, CBP, we're in the business of stopping that bad person coming into the United States.
Of course.
These low-risk passengers that use this program help us to be able to define and refine who we're looking for and allowing these legitimate travelers to pass into the country with little or no problem.
Sometimes some people coming to the country are paroled instead of admitted or not admitted. Some are admitted, some are refused, some are deferred. And some are paroled.
Yes.
What are the kind of people that you will parole?
Well, what normally happens, a typical parole is somebody who may be in between status. They're here adjusting their status from a non-immigrant to a legal permanent resident, and for some reason they had to go home. They can apply for a parole letter. We also have what's called a humanitarian parole, where they may not be eligible to come into the U.S., but due to a humanitarian compelling medical reason, we allow them to be paroled into the United States to seek that medical treatment. We also have port of entry paroles, where their documents may not have been in order at the time of arrival, but through our use of discretion, we will parole that individual to conduct their business here in the United States.
And I believe there's also something called a waiver of a passport or a visa.
Yes.
Somebody can, I'm saying that once upon a time, we have a whole group of people coming for a performance, 50 or 60 people. And there was only one day of problem that they're going to late. If they were going to regular appointment, they had the visitor visa, they just came in.
Yes.
Between that, we got the papers approved, petition was approved, the whole team. And we could go to the, it's about 20 years ago, 30 years ago maybe. We went to the airport, the immigration service and supervisor there said no problem, got the whole team come in, fill up the form, $95 at that time. And everybody was admitted on H1 visa, it was used to be at that time. So that's why this question coming from. In certain situations, that you can waive that visa classification being different or the passport date expired or something.
Exactly. And as I said earlier, we realize that as humans, sometimes mistakes occur. And this is a mechanism that we have through our form of discretion to apply that waiver. You would have to pay a fee to CBP at the time of your entry, but that allows you entry into the United States for your stated purpose.
At that time, Madhvi, we got maybe about $5,000 processing.
Wow, it's well over $500 now, the application fee.
Yeah, okay. The next question I want to ask you is about the websites that might be available to our viewers to get some information that they might be looking on CBP, or as we mentioned last time too, about them being, sometimes, yes, they have a problem in the past which has been resolved, but still for some reason they keep on getting into deferred inspection or secondary inspection, sorry. And they want to try and clear out that problem so that the next time they come into the country, they don't have to go through a secondary again and just go through a primary and get out. Yeah, so where exactly?
Yeah, there's a couple different websites that we have.
Right.
You can also start at the top at your www.dhs.gov, Department of Homeland Security. Off of that, you can also go to your www.dhstrip.gov, the travel redress website, if you have any complaints. Or, as you said, they keep getting stopped and they just want to find out, you can go there. CBP, Customs and Border Protection, has our own website with a whole wealth of information to the traveling public. In that website, you'll find what's called the CBP Info Center. You can go on to that site and you'll be able to look at common questions that a normal traveler would have. You're able to look and see the answer will be there for you. If you don't find the specific answer you're looking for, you can actually email representative of CBP, and they'll get back to you.
I have a question about people, visitors coming
Yes.
with a visa stamp B1, B2. So it's a combination of B1, B2 visas.
Yes.
The person is coming in, sometimes he gets 3 months, and the other time he gets 6 months. So we believe this has to do something with whether the admission is a B1. I think generally you do 90 days.
Correct.
Where the admission is B2, you do generally 180 days.
Yes.
But how does the officer make a determination as to whether this person is coming for pleasure only or this person is coming for a business trip?
Essentially, when the officer first meets the passenger, besides saying good morning, hello, the first question we ask is, what is your purpose of coming to the United States? And then every further question is gauged to that one response. If you're coming for business, we'll gauge our questions towards business. If you're coming to pleasure or vacation, we'll gauge our questions after that. So that is the preeminent question always asked to every passenger arriving into the United States every day.
So basically, for depending on the purpose of their visit, then if it's a B1, generally your policy is to give a 90-day visa,
Yes.
90-day stay, and if it's a B2 for pleasure or tourism, that's usually 180 days.
Yes.
And
you'll
sometimes a mistake has been made because once or twice person was admitted coming for a pleasure or family, and he was given 90 days. So we could go to the port of entry and
Yes.
talk to CBP, there is an error here. This person is not on any business trip, he's just coming. And depending on the type of category, you look at the documents also. The visitor is coming, you have different type of document you want to see. Person is working already in the US, he may have documents, papers, any information that shows he's really not coming for a visit. And he has been here at least 3-4 times in this year.
Exactly.
Most of the time he's spending in the US, that means something hanky-panky is going on with this.
Yes.
Or a student is coming, in different kind of document, an H-1B is coming, an L-1B is coming, you are aware. The officer is aware of what the documents he should be looking at.
Yes.
And making appropriate determination of admissibility, non-admissibility, or denial, or whatever.
Yes.
Am I correct?
No, you're very correct.
Okay, and the last word is this. You give whatever information you think, other than what we talked about, any suggestions, any ideas to different type of people that come on H1, L1 visa, permanent residents who have been out of the country for more than 6 months or 8 months. Any suggestions or any advice or any tips you want to give to our viewers that what kind of documentation should carry and anything that you want to say?
Yeah, essentially, what CBP stresses is communication. We definitely want to know up front if the person perceives they may have a problem entering into the United States. We first recommend you go to the websites. Look at the websites, all the answers are there. When you're coming into the United States, don't hesitate to ask the officer if you have a question, especially related to what you perceive as your admissibility. Anybody who has been out for a significant amount of time, the officer will work with you to find out why you were out for that length of time.